Welcome to Grapes and Debates, a podcast where we'll uncork some incredible wine and debate varietals of issues within the restaurant industry, one glass at a time. And now, your hosts and owners of SoNapa Grille, Adam Barringer, Chris Botting, and Joe Bates.
Episode 61.
Shoot.
I am so happy to be back from Sonoma, Napa.
You look good.
Yeah, listen,
Yeah.
I feel good.
Yeah.
It was
How's your blood alcohol level?
I was going to say.
right now.
Yeah. Well, it probably hasn't come down.
Don't go for
all the
blood
way.
work. Just wait.
No, I'm definitely not going for any type of blood work.
No.
Oh my goodness, what do we have here? A little Paul Hobbs Chardonnay to start the day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
right,
One of my favorite visits while we were out there. So many.
We had so many
So
visits.
many.
We had.
Yeah.
I looked at it. I think we had 40 scheduled tastings and tours.
Yeah.
And these weren't just your random tasting. You go in, you try 5 wines. It was
Right.
literally tastings, usually with
Inside.
with
A dedicated host of some
dedicated
kind.
host.
Sure.
And
Some behind the scenes stuff that
A lot
not
behind the scenes.
not everybody gets to see.
right. So we had an amazing time.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's any bad wine that we tried. Maybe
No.
that we didn't. Maybe it wasn't a favorite, but there was no bad wine.
We're not visiting places in Sonoma and Napa because they're not in business long if they're doing bad
Right.
wine.
Right.
That are serving bad wines.
Right.
Right. So stylistically, you might have had a favorite, but out of all the 40 that we went to, they were all serving great wines.
They were serving great
Yeah.
wines, no doubt.
Yeah.
The experience everywhere. Just
The restaurants,
Mm-hmm.
many of the
Yes.
restaurants. So we had some high. Obviously, GOTS. You always got to do GOTS.
You got
To
to
do
do GOTS.
I don't know about that.
That might not be a clean glass.
Something's
Edit.
Something's a little foggy in there.
sorry. I didn't want you to die.
That's Palmolive. it was in the clean rack. Thank you.
Oh.
I appreciate that. No, that's
That was
thank you.
the cleaning crew today.
Yeah, that's
Oh.
something.
Yikes. All right.
Anyway, so yes, good food, good wine.
Amazing service.
And
Well, and that's what separated the experiences
Sure.
for me.
well, I would like to say that a big thanks and a big shout out to Kim Braddock,
Oh my gosh,
Foley
yes.
Family Wines. They
Yeah.
really, for the first 10 days of us being out there, they essentially host us.
Yeah.
Go into their properties, and they are some amazing properties. Chalk
Yeah.
Hill, Fari
Beautiful.
Carano,
Yeah.
Chateau St. Jean,
Yeah.
Roth, Banshee, Silverado,
Yeah.
Foley Johnson. I mean, we were in Napa, we were in
And new to the
Sonoma.
lineup, although we didn't see vineyards, but was the Sonoma
Sonoma
Coast
Co-
Tasting Room.
Sonoma
right
Coast Tasting Room
on Bodega
overlooking
Bay and,
Oh, wow.
and with Spencer. Shout out to Spencer at Sonoma Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Who really made that visit special. He
Yeah, and Karina, who was our
Oh,
dedicated
Karina.
concierge, if you will.
Yeah.
She was so great.
She was great. And I'm trying to think, did we leave out any? Oh, Lancaster. Went to Lancaster. They still were unable to take a fucking credit card.
No,
Yeah.
candle,
to buy-
no candles.
No candles.
2 years ago, same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we
So-
went back twice.
Oh, God.
We went
Yeah.
back twice.
May want to rethink their POS system.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
need to. So, out there, 40 plus vineyards,
Wow.
wineries.
Mm-hmm.
Not for all of us, by the way.
Not for all of us.
You took one for the team.
I took one for the team.
You stayed the longest. Saw the
Right.
most wineries. Joe, you were there.
But our
for-
team is still talking about it, you
Right.
know, and
Oh,
for
yeah.
us to be able to do something special like that, and you were out there the whole month because you team members out, team members back, team members out, and then got to finish it up with some friends and family. and-
Yeah.
And
So,
yeah, neat.
going back to it now, again, we can debate. Let's debate.
We can debate.
Oh,
What? Well, we always start with grapes. So we have the Paul Hobbs Chardonnay. This is
I'm detoxing.
You're
know,
detoxing.
Sorry,
You're
it smells
detoxing.
so good. I know. Stop it. Seriously. This is torture.
Our friends might be shocked to learn that I'm drinking a little Chardonnay today.
Well, that's because there's no Pinot Grigio here.
He didn't have. Yeah,
It's my fault.
There is no Pinot
Sorry.
Grigio, so we were out of
We
stock.
haven't been in the office in a month, and I I brought
But I have
creamer.
been enjoying some Chardonnay lately. The Pinot Grigio, a little acidic. Chardonnay's typically a little softer.
Yeah. Who are you?
More of a food wine for me, but
Right.
I have been enjoying some Chardonnays.
And we did visit Paul Hobbs.
We did.
It was.
Oh, you did?
We did. Yeah.
Okay.
It was awesome. We had a really. I'd say it was just us at the tasting. It was a tasting room, a hospitality house.
And it wasn't an over-the-top special behind-the-scenes tasting, but it was. Our host had a ton of information.
Yeah.
And,
Very knowledgeable.
And my favorite wine of the whole trip was that Paul Hobbs Tocolone Cab.
Are
Is
you serious?
Really?
That was your favorite wine?
I think so.
The ultimate debate.
Ooh, yeah, yeah. God, it's hard to put it's hard to say favorite.
You
Right.
guys.
It really is.
Or
You had
That
some
was a great
wine.
experience, though.
or drinking Chapelet Pritchard Hill where?
On Pritchard Hill
What?
in the vineyard
Overlooking Lake Hennessy,
and Charles
And
Valley in the distance.
Charles Valley.
Yeah. They talked some shit about Charles Valley, didn't they? We've never been, so listen, I don't know, but
No, it was funny. It was
it's
funny.
it's kind of funny how maybe each AVA
Yeah.
kind of talks shit about the
Yeah.
other. Yeah, but so Chapelet, I'll go off on a little bit of a tangent.
Sure.
So we walk in the front door, and this older guy comes up. He's got the puffer vest on, which I guess is mandatory requirement if you're working at a vineyard. Is the
I think so.
the puffer
Yes,
vest?
yes.
Wait, don't the girls have like
No.
$300 worth of puffer vests being shipped to us? By the way,
600.
Oh my God.
walks up and says, "Hey, everybody, I'm Cyril
Yeah.
Chapelet,
Well, I didn't hear that second
Okay.
part. I didn't. And
the patriarch of the family, is
Wow.
in there shooting the shit with us with jeans and muddy boots on." And
I don't know if they were muddy boots. They were ready for a big event.
He was.
The
all right. But
International
his-
Food and Wine
work
Society.
boots.
Yeah.
But the way they were able to pivot from the hospitality standpoint, because we were in a little cubicle in the wine room, and then there's 60 people over there, which we can
Whoa.
hear.
A cubicle is very wrong description.
It was beautiful, and we were in the wine barrel room.
Oh, okay.
It was in a
had
massive room.
a-
We were divided off by
divider.
wine barrels.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was no cubicle.
Wow.
Okay, it's no cubicle.
It was a
And
12
then didn't the
foot.
CEO come by and talk to us as well?
He did. I think his name was David.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay.
And then
Lindsay.
Annabelle and Lindsay, a couple of hosts, could see, hey, you know what? This big crowd over here is going to be loud. Let's grab a couple bottles. They put us in these John Deere 4x4s or whatever they were,
Wow.
up the side of the mountain,
Yeah.
through the vineyard to the top of Pritchard Hill. Let's get you guys out of here. We'll show you something special. And they took us up there and
That's
drinking
awesome.
wine.
And it was
overlooking
instead of it being a gun belt with 2 6-shooters,
Right.
it's like, oh, here's a bottle
Yeah.
of the Pritchard Hill
Yeah.
we were up there. It was cool.
Yeah, that was very, very cool. So that was very special. And the girls, yeah, and they just were able to pivot quickly from a hospitality standpoint and
Read the room.
Did a great job.
and read the room. Yeah.
So that
So-
was at the top in the top 5 because I can't say that there was a best, right? Mm-hmm. And we could say what was the best sip of wine, and I think Chris said it was the ultimate debate. And you see, we have the debate wines. We're getting ready to do a debate tasting in Jacksonville on the 13th. The debate was certainly some of the best wines that we had. Chapelet, certainly one of the best tastings from the hospitality standpoint, from the wine, being on the top of Pritchard Hill, which is the Rodeo Drive of vineyards in a
Okay.
sense. And then meeting the Trefethen family.
Yeah, very cool.
And, you know,
Always awesome.
John and Lorenzo, I think father and son.
correct.
Right?
And, his
John
wife.
is now the patriarch of the
Yeah.
family, although his parents
Really-
started it,
Yep,
right?
and they really were instrumental in creating AVAs and in creating the Ag Preserve to preserve all of Napa Valley, which the history of that is fascinating.
It's neat, yeah. And there's a handful of families that you think about, the Mondavis going back and the Charles Krugs of the world. And
Right.
some of these families. And
Ren Harris, and
you
we
don't
went
realize,
to Paradigm,
right,
which was
that
amazing.
Trefethen was part of that
Yes.
early
Yeah.
evolution of
the valley.
Napa and Sonoma. Yeah.
The most shocking thing to me in being in Napa trip was, and the girl that bartended for us at the Archer Hotel, she goes, "It's the smallest large town you'll ever be in." She
Right.
goes, "We all know each other."
Yeah.
And then you go and you meet the winery owners and the winemakers, and it's a crew of people that all started this on the backs of their family.
Yeah.
And they all know each other.
Farmers.
And they're all supportive of each other.
Yeah.
They definitely, I mean, that saying you have about a rising tide, it's true.
Right.
And they've lifted each other up, and they've become incredible producers of wine out there.
So Adam's been there several times. I've been blessed enough to be there several times. First time for you.
First time.
So what did you come back with going, that's exactly what I expected, or that's not what I expected? Or did you expect something and it's like, oh, it's nothing like that?
Just, no, there's a peacefulness out there.
Yeah.
And I definitely expected that. And from the
Well, they're
house,
all drunk.
from the house we stayed at with the
Yeah.
view, and just there's like, maybe it's just vacation and, rosé colored glasses, but you do kind of feel this calm
Yeah.
wash over you there. And then, I mean, driving to the house from the airport, we're driving past Lancaster and Chalk Hill and Roth, and it's like, holy shit, I sell these labels every day.
Right.
It's so cool to see the sign in front of the winery that is producing what we're selling
Yeah.
here in Florida. But yeah, just the overall welcome nature of everyone there. And it didn't matter if it was someone at the cash register or someone in the tasting room with you. They all sell it like it's their story.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, and that's what I bring back is the stories,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and whether it's Spencer or just some of the people and the stories and the history. And I don't think there's another type of beverage that has the stories along with it, you know. So,
Well, I mean, I think the history of and Napa and Sonoma is not that old. I mean, the
It's not.
wine industry. I mean, the wine itself.
they've been making wine there
Thousands
since
and
the
thousands of years.
1800s back in
Right.
that area,
But
but
really,
got on the map.
the current wine industry, you're really talking 70s.
70s and 80s.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that until being there. And then you talk to everyone, and it's like, well, in the 70s, my parents did this. In the 80s,
Yeah.
we had, our first big party introducing,
Yeah.
what is now on our menu.
Right.
It's like, really?
Yeah, it's
But
not that long ago.
It's consistent in Napa. I mean, most
Yeah.
of them, 70s and
Yeah.
80s.
Yeah.
So,
And
It
when
creates
you're
a
talking
sense of
old
culture.
world, Italy,
yeah.
know,
Right.
But we're not.
Bordeaux. We're not. I'm just,
Yeah.
but that's where they all got it
Yeah.
from.
Yeah.
You know, the monks that came over
Sure.
and we're making sacramental wine up in Northern
Yeah.
California.
Yeah.
Well,
And-
I got to tell you that not to
Yeah.
jump ahead, but yes, I'm jumping ahead. One of the coolest experiences that we had, we went to the top of Pine Mountain in Cloverdale, which is the absolute northernmost part of Sonoma. And I think Pine Mountain, half of it's in Sonoma, the other half is in Mendocino.
It looks like
Okay.
it from
And
the
we
map.
were with the winemaker for Spicy Vines, Doug Hackett.
Yeah.
Doug.
And we barrel tasted probably 10 different wines.
He said he was climbing a stack
He was
of
up in-
barrels or
Yeah,
something.
he
and-
was.
Yeah.
He was in the Wine Thief, and man, we had a
Yeah.
blast. We
That's awesome.
we tasted so many amazing barrels, and it was whether it was
I
from
think he
a
might have
single
tasted a cerveza while you were there as well.
a Modelo.
I think so.
That wasn't me. I do have pictures
Okay.
of the Modelos. Those were palate cleansers, Joe.
That's what he said. These are palate. I
Palate
love that.
cleansers.
I love that.
And but we barrel tasted. We tasted from neutral barrels. We tasted from new French oak barrels. And when he feels the time is right, he's going to then blend them to get the blend that he wants. But it was just absolutely fascinating to see a much smaller scale.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say a boutique winery, and they do direct to consumer pretty much only,
Right.
especially for the state of Florida. And we are going to be able to introduce this to our wine club members in this upcoming month. I'm so
Wow.
excited.
And our wine club members are savvy wine drinkers.
Sure.
I guarantee, I doubt any of them had this, or
No,
very,
this is-
very few.
No, yeah.
So to be able to offer this to our wine
is
club
gonna be
members and really wine club members moving forward, some of the relationships that
Sure.
we've built now out there in Napa and Sonoma,
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very,
Yeah.
very special. So
Yeah.
yeah, very, very cool.
So did you come back with anything, a little tidbit of knowledge? You were just talking about tasting out of different types of barrels. Did you come back with anything, either of you, that you just I'd never thought, brand new information.
No, this is something that's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, blow my mind.
Okay.
Come on.
Right. And of
Start
all the
thinking.
people, so of all the people, I'm with my cousin Nick, right? He knows nothing about wine.
Right.
Right. So we're at, believe it or not, we're at Rodney Strong where
Yeah.
this kind of happened. And we barrel tasted Cemetery, which is Rodney Strong's high end. So here's the barrel, take the bung out, wine thief goes in, fill up all the glasses. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So then think about this. You have a bottle of wine, the cork comes out, you taste it, but then that's going to go bad in 3 days.
Ooh.
So here's a barrel of wine. Cork comes out, the bung comes out. We taste off of that.
And that barrel's garbage?
No, but I'm saying what?
Right, what's the difference?
You're thinking,
Right.
because then they're going to go
Yeah.
back in, top it off, and
Yeah.
it fills up to the top
Right.
and removes that oxygen. But it was just the thought that here we were at Spicy Vines. He only has 53 barrels in his aging, his
Yep.
facility, and we drank out of maybe 10 of them. So he has to go back and top off every one of those barrels to remove that oxygen. And so this is what the guy at Rodney Strong told us. So let's say if we drank that much now, that much oxygen is in there, you could literally take it and fill that back up to the top, and it wouldn't go bad.
Interesting.
With more
So-
wine?
Right, with
so it's
more
the
wine.
oxygen in the bottle that makes it go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it was just kind of interesting. Tasting out of the barrel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that not going to go bad?
Yeah.
Right.
That's never occurred to me.
It was just interesting. It was like thought provoking in a
Yeah,
sense.
yeah, absolutely.
See, well, Logan first time and your husband,
Yes.
who we love, and he was great to have on the trip. But not necessarily like you're in the business, we're in the business.
Yeah.
He's not necessarily a wine guy. He's out protecting and serving
not,
every
yeah.
single day. So how about a kind of a non-wine guy? You said he had.
He was just.
What
in
did he
shock
bring
and
back?
awe.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for starters, everywhere we went, we were treated like royalty.
Yeah.
It was like, okay, so let's walk past all these peasants, and you guys can go to your
Come on,
your
G-pop.
private tasting. It was.
Yeah.
We're going to edit that out. We're not going to leave that in. There are no peasants.
I'm
No
just
peasants.
saying. No, I mean, if,
But they made you feel like king and
yes,
queen.
they made us feel great. I mean, they took such good care of us everywhere we went, and I think that was what he walked away with.
Yeah.
He goes, wow, it
The
really.
hospitality.
Well, the hospitality,
Well,
but it
hospitality,
shows
but
a
it's
lot about
because
what we're
of
doing.
what
as a
we're doing
company.
here. When you call yourself SoNapa,
Yeah.
The other takeaway is when we got out there and people see the van, SoNapa, they're thinking SoNapa as opposed to Sonoma Napa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And once I explained that, since we were staying on the Sonoma side,
Yeah.
it resonated more
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
Yeah.
with Sonoma.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a very cool area. I got to see it more from the driving around,
Yeah.
and really 2 weeks is the longest that I had been out there. I think we
Right.
were out there 17 days or something. So to really kind of understand the lay of the land and going north over Calistoga, coming back down the Sonoma side, or vice versa,
Sure.
and kind of starting to know where I am. Okay, I'm in the dead center of Napa, on the valley floor.
Right.
And here's the Beckstoffer Vineyard. Okay, that
Yeah.
So by the end
Or
of the 2
driving through
weeks,
Knights Valley in order
Yes.
to get to Calistoga,
Correct.
being in Chalk Hill / Alexander Valley, all cool stuff.
yeah. You said you guys had a little sketchy ride up the side of a mountain after we had left. Where were you heading
There
up?
were
Is that
sketchy
when you were
rides.
going?
No, that's when we were going to. So we went to the top
Going up
of
the driveway.
Pine Mountain. Basically, so Pine Mountain in Cloverdale, I believe that within a 2-mile stretch of road, and it's windy road, we went from basically sea level elevation all the way up to 2,200
Yeah.
feet. It was pretty intense.
Yeah.
In the van.
In the van.
And the van was hopping a little bit.
Yeah. Listen, the van struggled to get in the driveway a couple times, so I imagine going up that hill.
It did.
Yeah.
It did.
But listen, the van performed like
It performed like a champ.
a champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Adam and Shannon and Hunter, the dog,
Yeah.
drove out there and drove back.
Well, we
so
drove
we had
back
transportation.
with 25 cases of wine for the wine
Yeah.
club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
insane.
It's a good thing
For the
because we
wine
drove
club.
through a couple.
No, officer, we haven't been drinking. We're not bootleggers.
No.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Eastbound and down.
Rolling up big trucking.
All right, so favorite. What you got?
No, so that was the debate. And I don't think, I think we built a stronger relationship with Doug and Crystalline at Spicy Vines, got to know them more on a personal level. So definitely that is one of my highlights.
Who was the young winemaker we met early in the trip?
Roth.
Was it Aaron?
Henry.
Henry at Roth.
That's right. Yeah.
Right.
In his 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just kind of, and to hear him just passionately talk about,
Sure.
what he's doing and blending and
Right.
the team that he has around him and, sitting back in a chair like this and just
know.
having a glass of wine with us and just
was a little buzzed.
talking us through it.
I was a little-
I was.
Yeah.
I was.
Eddie was so buzzed, he just sat down and started conducting the podcast.
He did.
That's all right.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, afterwards at the podcast,
Yeah.
yes. The walk through the vineyard at Silver Oak with Ramona.
With Ramona?
Ramona. And
She
I don't-
was
I
awesome.
adored her.
Yeah, we're walking through and she sees just this stray leaf and she's like, they should have got that. And so
But a
been
lot,
doing it 30
so
years.
many good experiences. So like I said, I could say these were my top 5.
Yeah.
But there's lots of different reasons.
And I could say I did have one that was at the very bottom.
Not because of the wine.
I didn't think the wine was great.
Okay.
Okay.
But the difference maker
Where?
was the hospitality.
Okay.
We started with saying everybody was serving pretty good wine.
And every winery has its own history.
Right.
Yeah, so it
No,
is
I
about.
had a bottom.
It was Inglenook.
But the difference maker.
It was. I'm
I
going to
know.
come out and say it.
I know.
Inglenook.
I know.
And then what happened to the guy that was giving our tasting? Joe got up
had to go
and
find
had to
him.
go behind the curtain.
And he's
Oh, no. That's
scrolling
like having
on
to
his
find-
phone.
He was on
That's like
Instagram.
having to find your server.
I don't know what
That's
he was
bad.
on,
All
but-
right. Well, my favorite, not even for the wine itself. I do love the wine, but for the experience of what our host provided was Banshee.
Ooh.
Because here we have Karina, who was our host through Foley Family, and she heard us talking about the boys wanting to play cornhole
Yep.
when we were at Lancaster, which Lancaster was my favorite wine of the whole trip, by the way.
Okay.
We're talking about it there. She calls ahead to Banshee, has boards, I think, dropped off there for
Yes.
us. It's too windy outside. She has them brought down into the cave for us.
No,
The
it was a
tasting
barrel room.
Yeah, the barrel room.
the
Sorry,
barrel
the barrel
room.
room. She has them brought down to the barrel room. You guys are playing cornhole in there. And instead of her being like, oh, they don't want the tasting, she just starts walking around giving us the tasting.
Yeah.
Everybody's
She was really reading the
she
room and,
Yep.
adapted so well to us.
because we kind of got up from
But
the
You
Lynn-
table.
started really kind of. I mean, you were really, messing with her a little bit. She had to.
I
kinda,
think that we had a
You two
healthy
you had a
banter.
Good, you had a good balance.
Okay.
Yeah. No,
But
I
yeah,
loved her.
that experience, and that for me is the heart of hospitality. That's what we strive to achieve in our restaurants.
Yeah.
But just you adapt to what the guest needs,
Yeah.
no matter what. And so,
Because that was the old
Karina.
It used to
Foley,
be Foley
Sonoma.
and I think they're phasing out
Property,
Foley
yep.
Sonoma. But Banshee is one of their hottest brands right
Yeah.
now, and it was
Because
awesome.
last time we went to Banshee, it was just a tasting room in Healdsburg.
in downtown Healdsburg, correct?
And so now they've got their
Beautiful
own
property.
facility, and it's
Yeah.
gorgeous.
Okay.
And what did they call that? The Pinot Room or the
El Pino Club.
El
Pino
Pinot
Club.
Club? Yes.
Oh, and the
That's
sign
where
Yeah,
was
yeah.
there.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
sign was still there.
Yeah.
All right, let me go
Yeah.
look through some of these.
Joe
So,
was up on the staircase.
You were.
I did. I've got a great picture of
Yeah,
you
we
guys
did.
from
We
the
have a
top
great
of the
one of you.
staircase. Yeah.
Up there.
What about Quintessa?
Ooh.
Yeah, and I had been there
right,
before,
so
and I
let's
remembered
talk about it.
But that vertical,
That was so polished.
oh man,
And I mean, you felt like you were walking into James Bond's lair. It
Yeah.
was so.
yeah, that's
And
pretty
then
cool.
he
You're
took
right.
us up that hill and overlooked the vineyard. That was
It was amazing. It was
incredible.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
Incredible.
Up
Yeah,
up the winding
he's
path,
telling
and then
us
it
the
opens
story
up
while we-
into
Yes.
and then we get
all
up there.
Overlooking the valley.
Yeah,
Gorgeous.
absolutely gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
And I
Yeah.
have, we went to Pride. You
And
had
we did
never
a
been to
vertical
Pride
of
before?
Quintessa, didn't we?
Yeah.
We did.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Pride.
How
so-
cool was that?
like-
Jay?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
and Pride is split down the middle,
Between-
Sonoma and Napa.
Yeah.
And so something that I learned is Sonoma and Napa have different tax brackets.
Okay.
So they have to pick their Sonoma side of their vineyard separately from their Napa side and then pay different taxes and
Have
report
two sets of books.
of books, all for one vineyard. And then I don't know if they could blend the.
No, yeah, they blend.
Yeah, they blend, but
and it's
once they pick and.
right. But again,
But it's two separate businesses,
right, yes.
basically.
And on their label, they will have the percentages.
Okay.
If it's under, so if it's, I believe it has to be 85% of the grapes. If 85% of the grapes come from Napa,
Yeah.
they could put Napa on the label. If 85% of the grapes come from Sonoma, they can put that on the label. If not, they just list Sonoma 37% and the remainder.
But you're literally standing
Right.
in a row
That's awesome.
holding a Napa cab and a Sonoma
Did you get a
cab
picture?
right here. Well, we got a
Oh, yeah.
picture straddling the line because, of course, that's their calling card. So
Sure.
Yes.
they've got a gate that heads out to the vineyard and right down the middle, so you can put one
That
leg on
is
each side.
super cool.
Yeah, and that was Pride Mountain. God, that was good juice too.
What about
man.
Trefethen? The pink party?
So that was cool.
The
How did you
sin
even
party.
hook up with that? How did you?
I'm on their mailing
Yeah,
list.
okay.
Yeah.
So they did their rosé drop, which I guess they do every
It's
year.
called
and they have
Sin. It's Summer in Napa. I don't know if that's the name of the rosé, but
Right.
God, it
And
was fun.
So it's a party for all their club members
Yes.
and many VIPs. So we went to that and we're walking around and getting a little bit of their snacks and they're pouring the rosé, of course. And
So we saw
here comes this
pictures.
older guy.
You eating?
Yeah, me eating.
He posted
I eat a
a
lot.
video with you with a sandwich.
Oh no!
So-
it was
Anyway,
a. I think it wasn't a sandwich.
No,
it
that
was
was
a
that-
cupcake.
Yeah.
you were eating a
Oh,
cupcake.
yeah.
It was that.
Yeah, you were going for it.
Yeah, well, I mean, win in Napa.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, so who walked up?
So John Trevethan walks up and, hey guys, how you doing? What's going on? We start
That's awesome.
kind of talking with him and just learning some of that history.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later, Lorenzo, the son, and his wife, they auctioned off a few bottles. And,
Right.
but yeah, just to kind of hang around with like-minded people, beautiful backyard, and live music back there, and just kind of a chill afternoon.
It was
Nice.
great.
And yeah, it was very, very cool.
And then
That's awesome.
one morning we started out, and I think it was a 10 a.m. tasting,
Yeah.
and we were a little banged up.
Yeah.
And we went to the debate. And
Yeah.
it's a tasting room, and we were the only ones there.
Yeah.
I had all the recording stuff, and I
Yeah?
forgot to none of the cameras were charged.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we had, and I tell you, that first sip of, I think we started with Cab Franc.
Yeah.
It was tough. But by the time we were done with that tasting, every one of those Cab Francs, every one of those single vineyard cabs,
Yeah.
and then the ultimate debate, which is a blend of all of that, really good.
And that's their Bordeaux blend.
Yep.
Right.
Hey everyone, Adam Barringer here, host of Grapes and Debates and founder of SoNapa Grille. I want to personally thank you for supporting our restaurants and tuning into the podcast each week. In honor of our friends at Foley Family Wines for hosting our team out in wine country, we're raising a glass to you tonight, Monday, June 9th, with a complimentary pour of your choice, Silverado Sauvignon Blanc, Chalk Hill Chardonnay, Ferrari Carano Pinot Grigio, or Roth Cabernet. Cheers. We hope to see you at SoNapa tonight, and all you have to do is mention code word podcast.